Hey guys, warm welcome to our lecture number 19 of Physics Paper 1. In previous video we have seen some points of thermodynamics, that is about second unit, and now we will discuss the remaining part of this unit in this video. So let us begin with the first point, that is Carnot's theorem. We introduced already the Carnot cycle in previous video, and now we will discuss about Carnot's theorem. So according to this theorem, energy efficiency of the Carnot cycle is independent of the working substance. Whatever the working substance that we have been used in this engine, that efficiency of that particular engine is not depend on that working substance. So the anicyclic process that absorbs heat at one temperature and it rejects that heat at one another temperature, and this is reversible, and it also has the energy efficiency of that Carnot cycle. So the two conclusions that are derived from this Carnot's theorem that maybe are: no engine can be more efficient than perfectly reversible engine working between the same two temperatures, right? And the efficiency of all reversible engines working between same two temperature will be same whatever will be the working substance, as the energy efficiency is independent on the working substance. Okay, so if you see in diagram, the process is reversible. Okay, whatever the amount of heat is given from the source, and that machine converts that heat energy into the work, and some heat is gone to the sink, right? That is QC, denoted by QC, and the process get revert, and again that heat comes from the sink, and some of that heat is converted into work done, and after that whatever the heat is remain, that is gone to the source. So the formula becomes QH is equal to QC plus W. And now the efficiency, as we have seen how we can calculate the efficiency is denoted by eta. So eta is equal to QH upon W. So no, we are noting here that the Carnot theorem gives eta is greater than 1. So that means this engine has most efficiency as compared to other engines. So this was all about Carnot's theorem. Now look at the absolute temperature scale. The temperature scale in common use arbitrarily define two fixed points using the properties of same substance. So the distance between these 2 points are called as thermodynamic intervals, right? So the scientist Kelvin thought of a scale which is independent of the properties of any substance, and that must be absolute. So that's why he designed a scale which is provided by the result that the efficiency of perfectly reversible engine is independent on the properties of working substance, and that scale must be depends only upon the temperature of the source and temperature of the sink. So that scale is called as absolute scale, or it is also called as Kelvin scale, okay, in the honor of scientist Kelvin. So here that scale shows the triple point temperature, that is 273.16 Kelvin. No degree symbol is used for kelvins. Okay, the Kelvin is defined as 1 upon 273.16 of the difference between absolute zero and the temperature of the triple point of a water. So this was all about the absolute temperature scale. Now look at the next point, that is Clausius theorem. A German physicist, Rudolf Clausius, put forward a mathematical explanation of a second law of thermodynamics in 1855, and that's why that particular mathematical explanation has given the name of Clausius theorem in the honor of the physicist Rudolf Clausius. Now, according to Clausius, suppose a system absorbs heat delta Q at temperature T. Since the value of delta Q upon T does not depend on the details of how the heat is transferred, we can assume it is from the Carnot engine which in turn absorbs heat delta Q0 from a heat reservoir with the constant temperature T0. That's why for Carnot cycle we can write delta Q upon T is equal to delta Q0 upon T0, which is in turn delta Q0 is equal to T0 delta Q upon T. Right? You can see in diagram how that Clausius has assumed the engine arbitrary system has given the heat from the Carnot engine, and the heat is absorbed by Carnot engine from the heat reservoir. Okay, and both the Carnot engine as well as that arbitrary system does some amount of work, which is represented by delta W and delta W0. Therefore, in one cycle, the total heat absorbed from the reservoir is Q0 is equal to T0 integration of delta Q upon T. Since after a cycle, the system and the Carnot engine as a whole return to its initial status, the difference of the internal energy is 0. So Q0 is equal to delta E internal plus W0 is equal to W plus W0, that gives you total work done. Right? So inequality of Clausius, the integration delta Q upon T must be less than or equal to 0. So the inequality of Clausius is a consequence of the second law of thermodynamics, whereas Q is the heat transfer to or from the system, T is the absolute temperature at the boundary, and the symbol integration is the cyclic integral. So this was all about Clausius theorem. If you see in the fourth figure that Clausius inequality has given the perfect explanation with the help of the graph. Now have a look on last point, that is absolute entropy. It is the universal truth that heat is always transferred spontaneously from hot body to cold body, right? So in 1865, Rudolf Julius Emanuel Clausius, a German philosopher and a physicist, he realized that there should be some quantity that determines the heat transfer, right? So the quantity he named that as a entropy, and from Greek word tropy means transformation. That's why he named that heat transfer concept as a entropy. Entropy is vital for thermodynamics and has intimate connection with second law. So that's why the absolute entropy of a substance may be calculated as the sum of configurational entropy, the entropy changes associated with the changes in temperature and pressure, and entropy associated with any phases. So addition of all these three terms, we can see in mathematically how entropy of uh, some temperature can be written as S tau is equal to S configurational, means the configurational entropy, as entropy is symbolized as capital S. So here S configurational means configurational entropy, plus second term is integration of 0 to tau Cp upon T dt, that is the entropy changes associated with the temperature and pressure. And the third term, that is delta S phi, means entropy associated with the any phase changes, as phi represents the phase. Okay, so the addition of all these three terms gives you the total absolute entropy of any substance. Okay, so whereas here the three terms are S configurational, means configurational entropy. Second term is entropy changes associated with the changes in temperature and pressure, and the third term is entropy associated with the any phase changes, right? Delta S phi is the entropy changes of any phase change. For example, melting of ice to form water. So here the state is changes from solid to liquid. So this is how absolute entropy is to be given. While calculating the entropy of any substance, somehow the formula ds is equal to integration of T1 to T2 dH upon T is also been used while calculating some entropy of any substance, or we can say while calculating the numerical problems or while solving the numerical problems, somehow the formula ds is equal to integration t1 to t2 dh upon t is also used. So this was all about absolute entropy. So now here in this video we have completed the points that are Carnot's theorem, Clausius theorem, absolute scale, temperature and absolute entropy. Now have a look on some sample objectives. This will may help you while preparing for your examinations. So the first question, that is the device which converts heat into work, is called as. So if you see the previous video of this unit, then you will may understand what will be the answer of this question. The device which converts heat into work is called as heat engine, or it is also engine, steam engine, all of the above, but the main answer is heat engine. Okay, so B is the correct option. Now the second question is, energy efficiency of Carnot cycle is dash of the working substance, whether it is dependent or independent or full or none of the above. Then if you see the Carnot's theorem, you will may understand the answer, that is independent. Energy efficiency of a Carnot cycle is does not depend on working substance. So the B option is correct option. Now the third, that is the absolute scale, is called as, whereas absolute scale of a temperature is given by or is designed by Kelvin. That's why in the honor of Kelvin it is also called as Kelvin scale. That's why here the B option is again correct, that is Kelvin scale. The absolute scale is also called as Kelvin scale. It is not Celsius scale, it is not Farad scale, or none of the above. So the correct answer is B. So I hope you must understand the objectives as well as whole the concept, whole content of this video as well as all the unit. So we will take a rest here. We have completed second unit successfully, and in next video we will come with another unit and another content. Till then, thank you and bye bye.